If you can enjoy The Last of Us with hardly any zombies, maybe you can enjoy Secret Invasion with hardly any Skrulls. Ooh, I don't know. Let's see about that. It would have to be, of course, that well written and that well acted. And you know what? Maybe it is. Because when I went over this trailer a second time to do my notes for this breakdown, I came across some pretty amazing stuff. One thing in particular that blew me away. So I'm excited to share it with you. I will say that in the comics, the original Secret Invasion storyline, not the recent Skrull comics that they've released over the past few years, which are crap, not good, but that original one, it was brilliant. I'll never forget it. It was a very splashy affair with all these big superheroes part of it, and it just came out of nowhere. It was pre-leak days. Today, I don't think stuff leaks in comics quite the same, even still. But I'll just never forget it. When Elektra was the Skrull, we were all like, what? And then my favorite, though, was when Hank Pym was revealed to be a Skrull. And you had not known it for the past couple of issues that you had been reading. And it was only revealed when he pulled out a special fancy science gun and shot Reed Richards with it. And it was a great visual. I'll never forget it, and it's what really sold me on this story. And I wish that this was a series that would lead into a big, fancy movie. But that does not seem to be the case. Maybe it's a surprise. No. Well, unfortunately, there are less and less surprises in the MCU these days. So maybe that's one of the good things that this trailer, reuses a lot of the footage from the teaser, from D23, and doesn't have a lot of stuff in it. Maybe the VFX aren't done on a lot of the shots, but maybe also they're trying to hide surprises. I think that if they had a lot of cameos, you'd be like, oh, one of those people is a Skrull, so maybe they're hot. I mean, I did hear they were hot, putting in more Skrull, candidates and stuff like that, because they were like, we can't have this few stuff. But I will tell you that at least one established human in this trailer is a Skrull. That's what I heard. Marvel does change things up till the very last minute, but it hasn't leaked. It has not leaked. So I hope it stays that way. The best shot, obviously, is the Super Skrull. And there's another Super Skrull shot, too. And if you aren't familiar with Super Skrulls, they are Skrulls that have the powers of the Fantastic Four, who we have not met yet in the MCU, but they're coming. So maybe they'll be like, where'd you get these powers? And they'll be like, the 1960s, because that's what's going on with the Fantastic Four. They're from the 1960s, and then like the Ant-Man Lang, Pym Van Dyne family, a lot of hyphens over there. They were in the quantum realm. The Fantastic Four have been off in space, and they're going to come back and have a culture shock of a different kind, a little bit like Captain America, but just from the 60s. They were like, they're coming right out of Mad Men into the MCU. But, the Skrulls didn't show up until the 90s. Maybe they ran into them in space. Maybe they're supposed to be based on the powers of the Fantastic Four. And Super Skrull can do all four powers. And you can kind of see that here, which is one of the reasons I bring it up. That looks like Reed Richards' powers, and this other quick shot looks a little bit like Reed Richards' powers mixed with the Thing. And also, of course, one of those powers is fire. And that's all I'll say about that. Maybe some green fire. So I'm also surprised, I'm shocked, in fact, that this shot from Vanity Fair, a very cool shot of the Skrull wiping the mirror, and you could probably shapeshift at that moment. If they showed it in Vanity Fair, why not put it in this trailer? I think this trailer could have used it. So it's already been revealed. I wish that it was in this trailer. It needed that shot, quite frankly. So what did they talk about in Vanity Fair? I'll give you the quick breakdown, all right? So basically, Nick Fury did not handle the events of Endgame very well. And when you think about it, that first scene that he had in the donut shop, right, with Natasha recruiting Tony, they're both dead. And he feels pretty bad about it. Samuel L. Jackson talked about in that Vanity Fair article. He set up a Skrull spy network, which he has been running from space, and Talos has been impersonating him on Earth, which we saw in Far From Home, and doing not a very good job, which, you see continued through here. Although one of you had a hilarious comment, when Talos says, that since you've been gone, things have gotten much worse, and that was basically, describing Phase 4, because Fury has not been in Phase 4. So I think I think that's very fun. That was a great joke there. I wanted to include it. And also, Samuel L. Jackson pointed out that when he doesn't have his eye patch on, he's feeling vulnerable. He's like, he just shows his whole self. He's like, yeah, that's right. Look what happened to me. Don't hold any of those flirkins, man. I don't know why they made it a flirkin injury, but whatever. But when he puts his eye patch back on, he's feeling strong. And apparently also when he puts his coat on. So when you see him with his eye patch and his coat, he's feeling good about himself. He's feeling good about himself, right? Everybody has that, right? You gotta look the part to be the part. Then also, something else that Vanity Fair discussed is that the Skrulls were promised a home. They were the good guys in Captain Marvel. And Nick Fury has put them to work, but he has not delivered on a home for them. They don't want to look like humans. They want to be green. But they're also apparently quite mean, or at least some of them are. And they're sick and tired of waiting for Nick Fury to do what he promised, which back from the 90s. It's been a minute. Now he's just depressed all the time. I mean, he could have taken this time to maybe recommit himself to that promise, but no, he's not doing that either. And Talos' daughter is all grown up, and her name is pronounced Gaia. And she has some relationship with this rogue faction of Skrulls. She's kind of like a middle person, although maybe I suspect a little bit more. We'll talk about that. That is just a theory. I'm not spoiling that. So love the comic. Don't pick up the recent comics. They're not good, but go pick that up. I mean, I think it's a very good comic. It's worth your time just for that reason, but clearly they've taken substantial liberties, both because it doesn't fit into the current MCU, they're not doing a movie out of it, and they can't afford it. Like in this trailer, they're like, where are the Avengers? And the answer is, we can't pay for them. So, you're getting this. All right, so let's break this down. As I said, there's some great stuff here. All right, so there's some kind of facility. We can't get a close-up of a sign, unfortunately. So Nick Fury, though, you can see he's feeling good about himself. He's got the swagger. He's got the coat on. And then he turns around here. He got the eye patch. Now, it makes it sound like someone's talking to him, but he seems to be instead looking around. And there he is coming down from space, getting his Steven Spielberg on, right? Very Close Encounters and E.T., and so, yeah, look, I don't know how he's looking at him with, you'd think he'd be like, could you stand on the side where my eye's not been scratched out by that stupid cat that, by the way, you did not tell me about. So Talos is, classic Ben Mendelsohn. He's like, I messed up, man. I messed up bad. So interesting to have Russia in there. And now look, this is what fascinated me. I was like, wow, is Gravik committing... is he taking himself out because he's so close to that explosion? Now, to some degree, if he's a super Skrull, he would have the abilities, and one of those is fire, and maybe he, with all of them together too, he could survive an explosion like this. But it also made me think, the Guy Fawkes mask, right? It's very famous, obviously. The mask, that hides not only your identity so that you can be an agent of freedom and chaos, but you also represent a cause. And I thought, what if the Skrulls had a flesh version of that, which would be Gravik, and then they take his form right before they do anything for the cause. I thought that was a fascinating idea. And maybe Gravik doesn't even exist anymore. Maybe he died a long time ago. Maybe he's being used as a figurehead. Maybe he's being used as a scapegoat. I mean, it really starts to get interesting when you go down the rabbit hole of shapeshifting. It's always been just a fun thing. You're like, oh, is Mystique naked? Ha ha ha, tee hee. But now you're like, what could you really do with that? And that to me gets me excited. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So, and also, does he have thumb holes? Oh, I love this guy. So yeah, that to me is really, really interesting to think of Gravik's face, this is Gravik, played by Kingsley Ben-Adir, as their Guy Fawkes. Or just maybe that's how they're presenting it. Oh, it's so good! All right. So he blows up something in Russia, and you can see Maria Hill is on the scene, and Nick Fury's like, I'm back. Can't believe this. I'm getting too old for this. Bleep. I bleeped myself. All right, so Marvel Studios. Then we're in England. Now, MI6 is being folded into this with Olivia Colman. Wow, I love Olivia Colman. But I thought it was interesting. I read a lot about spy work. I'm very interested in spy work. I read the history of the CIA. I read about MI6. And, spy work was basically created by the British. What's that code movie, right, with Benny C. Simultaneously to some degree with the US, but the UK really was the forefront of the spy espionage game. And of course, there have been spies before that, but I'm talking about a government organization. And that was developed during World War II. And women were very highly, were a big part of that. Very big part of that. Not so much in leadership roles, unfortunately, but, were a lot of the agents. I read a great book on that. It was just so fascinating. So I kind of like Olivia Colman being the female head of MI6, basically Nick Fury's counterpart in the UK. And I think that makes for a great setting. I think it's fascinating. I love it. And of course, a lot of spy work was done in Europe during World War II, et cetera, and during the Cold War. So there's Nick Fury. And boy, look how many lamps are in this office. I'd be like, geez, why don't you just get a big lamp? She's like, I love it. And it is for a cool effect, but it is a lot of lamps. Wow. That's funny. All right, so look at this. Now you can see what's written here. The faces of freedom. And that's what this face is supposed to be. Gravik is the face of freedom. But there's multiple of them, so it still counts. But it's a great, to see these former revolutionaries, I believe, of England, and the Skrulls are very much saying, hey, that's us, man. That's us. Everybody paints themselves as the hero, right? I haven't heard the argument. Maybe the Skrulls have a point. So Talos, of course, is also a Skrull, and he clearly can see he is losing control of the Skrulls. He's supposed to be the leader, but he has clearly done a very, very bad job. That's the good thing about democracy. You just get unelected. In other situations, there's a very bad way to get rid of the leaders they don't like. On that note, look at this huge tombstone, man. Oh, maybe it's just the perspective, but it looks huge. It's funny. From this forced perspective, I was like, what is that, like a queen? All right, so they come here. It's clearly, now I like this inscription. Why is there only moss on the front of it, not on the back? Whoever did that moss work, though, it looks really great. But it's his grave, right? Nicholas J. Fury. But they do a take on the hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I was like, they really took a lot of liberties with that quote. But anyway, they did a nice job. So it reads, greater love hath no man than this, Fury, right? That a man lay down his life for his friends. And I think he's like, I didn't. My friends died, and I'm still here. So I think that also mirrors his guilt. Aw, poor Fury. No therapist up in space, huh, man? So he's like, I gotta take care of this myself. And he's got a crypt, which is also a weapons cache. Oh, I love it. He's super depressed. That's his team. All of our, it's basically S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the MCU version. Kevin Feige really hated Jeff Loeb. I like this shot too. You can see some Secret Service agents, it seems, mixed in here. This is part of that whole strike on the convoy, and they've just sliced and diced it and sprinkled throughout this trailer. I hope there's more action and it's just not ready. Now here are a bunch of people in stasis, because it's a Disney show and they can't just kill the people they replace. They're like, oh, don't worry. They're in a vault, a glowy vault. They're having happy, warm times. Because, in reality, they probably, but also even in the Marvel comic, they didn't kill them. They were all, up in space, being prisoner, and so they were like, oh, look, here they are. But, I don't know. I think it should be a mix. I mean, are there high stakes here or not? So Gaia, Emilia Clarke, Talos' daughter, is like, whoo, maybe what's keeping me from pulling the plug, man? So there we go. We're back in the lamp office. Olivia Colman. She's great. Although she's this close to appearing in so much stuff that it's hard to tell the performances apart. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She has some nice stuff in there, though. Woo! All right, nice collection. Although she's like, do you feel guilty at all? And he's like, shut up. That's so mean. He's like, I don't see a UK superhero team. I created the Avengers. Thank you very much. And she's like, they're also mostly dead. He's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. All right, so you can see the cool green lighting. So Liz Avengers, I love it. They keep talking about the Battle of New York all the time, man. What the heck? We've had other battles. Thank you. But that's funny. I just like being in French. I hope somebody reads it in French. Now, it's funny. All right, so I love Paris. All right, so I think this is some kind of machine that keeps them from shape-shifting. So we'll talk about it a little bit more. So, look, green lasers. Green lasers. Color of coding. I love it. And I love Nick Fury's glasses. They're a little similar to mine. Love it. Hey, Nick, I see you. You can be my glasses pal. And he's like, I got to do this. I got to take care of it. And so like the end is closer than you think. There's that thing, the convoy shot. We saw that before. Is that Emilia Clarke's character, I wonder? Gaia? Oh, so he's in the hospital. Who was he visiting, right? And I believe these are all Skrulls, right? So wouldn't it be a cool thing if like they just in succession wipe across the face, the same face? It could be anybody. They could choose any face they want. They could be him. That would be so funny. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, that looks like that's what they're going to do. So it's very cool. And Rhodes is like, man, you are so wanted. You know, I shouldn't even be talking to you. I'm curious what Rhodes' position is. I think I read Vanity Fair said he was like second to the president, who is not yet Harrison Ford's General Ross or Secretary Ross, Secretary of State. I think Dermot Mulroney or something is playing the president. Maybe who's a Skrull since he's not going to continue. Maybe this sounds like Secret Invasion sounds like the kind of that's interesting. Oh my God, Secret Invasion was the event that got Norman Osborn to be able to do. Was it the other way around? I think it was Norman Osborn used Secret Invasion. Yes, it was. To create the Dark Avengers, to gain power. Because he was like, whoa, look what happened. And so that's how he was, and that's how I think he got the government to back him. So maybe Secretary of State Ross might be like, when I was William Hurt, I already gave a speech about these weapons of mass destruction running around without any rules, man. So he's like, I think it's about time the government became in control. And he turns himself into, is General Ross the MCU's Norman Osborn? And just like Norman Osborn turned himself into a version of Iron Man, General Ross is Red Hulk. He's Red Hulk. My mind is blown. Okay, I'll accept it. I like it. I'm starting to see it come together, man. So that's Emilia Clarke. We saw her filming that behind the scenes. What do they have to do with a nuclear power plant? Although, look how that is. What is that? Oh my God, I forgot the name of the place. Chernobyl. It was the whole HBO Max series. Chernobyl also showed up in, the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League movie and Justice League. But Chernobyl, are Skrulls not impervious to radiation maybe? Are they hiding out there too? What? Is that the exact same plot point from Zack Snyder's Justice League? All right, she's like, you don't know what they have planned for you. And he's like, what now? The cat wasn't enough. I've had enough of aliens. So look, specimen sample. Oh, I think, look at this. So that's the U.S. Department of Damage Control. I hope Agent Cleary shows up. So far, he's been in Spider-Man, and also, Spider-Man movies, and also, of course, Ms. Marvel. But let's get him in here. So look, I think she's going to cut off a sample. Oh my God, lady, are you kidding me? What part are you going to cut off? Oh, this is a Disney show. I guess it could morph into any part that she wanted. Oh, I love talking about this stuff. All right, so who knows who that is? You don't know who anybody is. Because they could all be shapeshifters. All right. Well, Nick Fury's feeling confident. He's feeling confident. All right, so maybe this is Chernobyl, because look how crappy it is. Sorry, Chernobyl, you know it's true. Well, how could he be there? All right, so anyway, look, I think this roof chase is Ben Kingsley's Talos. He can really move when he's a VFX. All right, so there's a very upset Skrull. More action shots. Now, I was wondering who this was. It might be Charlene Woodard, right? I'll be curious to see if this is another Skrull, someone that Emilia Clarke's character is working with. We'll see what's going on here. That's the shot of this other Super Skrull, as you can see. Whew, I don't think that guy's going to make it unless he's another Skrull. So I love that. Oh, he looks great. And I think, yeah, look, he's shifting. That's so subtle. Perhaps too subtle. I'd be like, it's too subtle. But yeah, look, he's just starting to shift there. Looks like he's been shot too. Excellent. Because, we'd like some high stakes, please. That's really great. Yeah, I love that. Ooh, that looks great. Not looking good for Talos, man. Ben Mendelsohn hardly ever got to do anything. All right. So look, apparently maybe when you're in this thing, you might not be able to shapeshift, but it seems you still have super strength. So he's throwing Nick Fury across the floor. Nick Fury's like, worth it, man. I have something up my sleeve. 'Cause I'm Nick Fury. And did you not see the eye patch? I'm confident again. Aren't you wondering why? All right, so yeah, there we go. That is such an unflattering vest on Kingsley Benadier. It looks so bad. But anyway, I'm like, is your arm tucked in there in the front? So anyway, yeah, so he's creating some kind of vine, right? Looks better than, the spaghetti in the Multiverse of Madness, though. I'll give him that. And these all could be him behind him. Who even knows again who this is? Oh, I love it. And then there he is. Look at the coat. Look at the coat. Is that blue? I feel like, is that navy blue? Oh, I'll never forget that funny thing in Dudley Do-Right, where it was like, are you wearing black or navy? If you're not really a villain. It was just so funny. I'll never get over that. That was so funny. So I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I thought you were dressed all in black. I think you might be wearing navy blue and a red hat. What's going on here, man? He's like, yeah. What is this, England, right? Or, no, I don't think it's probably, well, Olivia Colman was there. But, it's a very English color scheme. Also America. Oh, yeah, is he wearing blue and red? Ha ha. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Pops the collar. Oh, yeah, it's leather underneath there. Oh, I saw that, Nick. I saw it. Secret Invasion. Woohoo. Get excited. Coming June 21st. It better be good. 6 20-minute episodes. No. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard. It better be at least 6 45-minute episodes. All right, so what did you think? What did you think now that we've gone over it and I've pointed out some additional stuff to you? What do you think now that you know a little bit more about it? Because I was surprised how many of you in the comments to my trailer reaction were not at all familiar with this story and have no idea what this is about. I think they're really trading on the fact that you know what Secret Invasion is. So that might be a faux pas in their ad campaign. I think they should assume that most people do not know what Secret Invasion is. But now you do if you watch this video. Share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.